Hello, 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 and welcome back. How are you doing today, Justin?
I'm doing okay. Everything's a bit hectic right now in life,
Yeah,
and I guess with this podcast, we're not
yeah, we're about
we
I think
weren't
we're
as
about
prepared as we
a
thought we were.
week behind right now, but
Yeah.
this episode's about I think about a week after we had planned to want it to shoot it. It's just
Yeah, actually, this episode is
happens.
brought to you by our inability to stick to a schedule and be functional adults. We'd like to thank the sponsor, and hopefully they won't ever sponsor us again.
Yes, unless they pay.
Yeah, sorry to anyone that for whatever reason expected, to come out on time. If we have that many listeners now, that'd be cool if we did. I know we have a decent, more than I keep expecting. So shout out to you all, especially the people across the pond in Europe. I don't know how you're finding it, but welcome aboard. Super cool. I guess let's dive right into this. What are we diving into?
So today's episode, it's about the many, looking over at some of the many different game launchers out there. We're all glad that there's so many to use now to get to so many different games. We talked a little
I'm
bit
really,
about it
really
last
happy.
week. So let's try and do a little bit more of a deeper dive this time, and starting with likely everybody's favorite, Steam.
Oh, I fucking hate this one. I'm just kidding. Yeah, of course. That's the one that we all use. Pretty sure if you have a computer and you play video games, there's a 100% chance that you have Steam installed and that you use it on a somewhat regular basis. I don't want to say they have a monopoly because clearly they don't. There's too many. I almost wish they had a monopoly, as dumb as that
I
sounds.
would say they still do, because some of the ones we decided not to talk about, such as Ubisoft and Origin,
Launcher
the
and
EA
Battle.net
one.
and Origin.
Yeah. Yeah. So we didn't talk about, well, at least Ubisoft and EA, because they kind of had to cave in of like, all right, no one's using our launcher. Our games will be available elsewhere.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not a fan of monopolies, but Steam, it's not perfect, as we'll get to, but it works good enough, and it's the one that everyone uses. So out of the just sheer laziness of the rest of the human race, please just put your games on Steam. Don't make another launcher, but whatever. So let's dive in. So when you open it, of course, the first thing that you're going to see is the store page, obviously. The thing at the top is the featured and recommended, and I don't know if you know this, but that isn't the same for everyone. I'm pretty sure it
should
cycles through games
based off of what you play.
Tailored based off of what you play, and if you follow any what are they? They're not blogs, but there's groups of game reviewers that can recommend stuff.
I don't follow any, but they recommend me some, and based off of what they recommend me games based off of the game blogs they recommend to me. If that makes sense. I mean,
makes sense to me. Hopefully
I
makes
guess kind of deep diving into a little. People know what Steam is. It's not as good as it used to be. I keep having connection problems with it, even though I'm clearly online and all my Steam functions are working. It still tells me I'm not, and it won't let me update my games or whatever. My friend list gets wonky. It's just something that's happening more often recently.
Quick side note, there's going to be a lot of clicking in this episode. It's impossible not to, because we're on the computer and talking about computer programs, so sorry. But yeah, to go into what you're saying, both of us right now are, we're not connected online to Steam. I can't tell you the last time I clicked that program and I got the error message of you're not connected to the service. I know it's apparently been happening to you recently, but I have not seen that in a while. So it shocked me that, of course, the day that we're trying to, look through this thing, it screws up and we're not online. We can't see our friends. I guess you can't play games online. I don't really know how it works.
It just says you're not online, even though like everything is working for some reason. I'm not sure where this is coming from, or if I'm.
I don't know. Yeah. That has been a problem, in my opinion, with Steam in general. They, honestly, for the entirety that I've used it, and I've been using it for, I can tell you exactly how long I've been using it now. I've been using it for 13 years, since April 9th, 2009, back when it used to have the green looking UI that some people might call ugly, but I liked it. It looked pretty cool. And it always gave the impression of it works. Not perfectly, not terribly, but it works, and that's good enough. We're not going to do anything more. And it really seems like they're keeping that mindset, because it just screws up sometimes, it sometimes just doesn't work. Your games won't download, like we were saying earlier. You don't get connected online. Your friends list gets all mixed up. Store page won't load. The daily news thing won't load. It just doesn't work a lot of the time, and they don't ever seem passionate about fixing that.
However, despite all the complaints and bitching we just did, I will say it's very user friendly. It's just like you said,
it's very easy on the eyes. It looks great.
I want it to. I don't have to do 200 things for something that could just be one thing. I don't have to click through a bunch of different pages to get to the page I want. It just opens up into the page. It automatically opens me into the store page. It doesn't have a special home page that won't let me look at all the games that I have. That makes me have to go to a store page to then look through new games and deals and stuff. It just automatically takes me there. And when I'm done looking at it, I click library and I very quickly get to all of my games.
So I'm glad you say that, because at the top there's 4 tabs, your 4 main tabs. So you start at the store tab, and the one next is library.
How Steam works. I don't know.
Yeah, and then there's community, and then there's your profile. And in case for whatever reason you don't know how Steam works, quickly, library is obviously everything that you own, and then the community tab is social media-esque of people posting shit about games and communities, and you can find groups or guides and reviews and a bunch of stuff in there. But yeah, it's not complicated. It looks not bad. You could download skins. I used to do that back in the day, but the way it looks now is fine.
It's fine.
I don't feel the need to do it anymore.
It really sets a standard, and a good standard at that, if anything.
Yeah. Do I wish that they would fix all the stuff we talked about? Yeah, absolutely. But at the same time, again, it works enough. It has a lot of very nice quality of life features, like being able to group games, crazy stat and achievement tracking on certain games. It's nice. It works.
It generally has a lot of sales. The sales, for the most part, recently have been kind of weak, in my opinion.
Yeah, they have definitely been getting weaker and weaker. 100% correct.
It's a little disappointing. It used to be really fantastic.
It used to be nuts.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But overall,
no
I'd
longer.
have to say definitely at the top of my list.
Yeah, I mean, it has its own marketplace too, like a real money auction house type thing. You could sell in-game items for technically real cash, but it's stuck in your Steam wallet, so all you can do is buy Steam games and shit.
Not too bad,
but if that's your thing, that's your thing.
Gonna buy new games anyways.
Yeah, exactly. So, it looks nice. It works good enough. It has a lot of interesting features, and I mean, usually when Valve touches something and when Valve makes something, it is relatively at the bare minimum, it's good. Yeah. So that says something. I like it. I'm not going to stop using it. Again, as stupid as it sounds, I almost wish they had like a forceful monopoly, just because all of these other launchers are. It's annoying, but at this point,
I guess I'll just
used
say
to
this
it.
now. It feels like other launchers do stuff in different ways to be different from Steam. It just
Yeah,
makes them
yeah.
worse.
Yeah, 100%. But whatever. But if we want to talk about things that Valve has touched and made, well, they just made and touched something very interesting that is finally coming out. People are finally getting it. Some of you probably already know what I'm talking about. But if you don't, it's Nathan's new vibrator. It has Bluetooth. It's really cool. You want to tell the people about it?
It's in sync to my Spotify.
Yeah, super
Whatever
cool
I'm
feature.
listening.
Fun fact, I know you're making a joke, but that is real. You can do
Yeah,
that. It's crazy. No, it's
cool things.
the Steam Deck. Why don't you lead off, because I think you have less to say than I do, and then I'll pick up from wherever you leave off, and we'll just dialogue from there. What are your thoughts and opinions on this? We'll start off with that. What do you think of the Steam Deck?
Cool idea, like a portable Steam thing. I'm not sure how well it works. I know people. I think we're comparing it to the Switch, and we're calling it a Nintendo Switch killer. I have not used the Steam Deck. I couldn't tell you about that. I have used the Nintendo Switch. The only reason I don't use it more is because, like, for me, when I'm on a computer, I just enjoy things more, as opposed to being on.
Yeah.
It's not just the Switch; it's just any console. Just I guess like the connectivity of like Discord, playing like stuff in the background, like going put a YouTube video on in the background, put my Spotify on in the background, put a Twitch stream on in the background or something. Maybe listen to another podcast in the background, then still play games or like read a book or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I just yeah.
I agree. Is this something you think you'd purchase in the future?
Maybe it's cheaper.
Maybe if it's cheaper. Well, I mean, let's talk about the prices real quick. There's, I do believe there's 3 models. Let's see here. I do believe the cheapest model is $399. Yeah, so the cheapest model is $399, and it gets you a carrying case and 64 gigabytes of like regular storage. Nothing crazy. 64 gigabytes is nothing, so you 100% have to buy yourself a SD card. But the fact that you're getting, the only difference between the price ranges is the storage and like some physical accessories. The actual hardware and the gaming capability is the same. So technically $399 for a pretty darn powerful handheld computer, considering the fact that all of the competition usually sits between like $1,000 up to like $1,400 for similar, if not worse, performance. I think the only one that comes to my head is there's something called like the Aya Neo. They're all usually made by like Chinese manufacturers. Not bad. Like, that's incredible. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I know $400 is a lot of money still to me, but
to most
compared
people,
to $1,400, yeah, exactly. Compared to $1,400, absolute steal. Then next is $529, and it gets you 256 gigabytes of NVMe SSD, so faster storage. Comes with a carrying case as well. All of them come with a carrying case. And you also get some sort of Steam community profile bundle. Yeah, whatever. And then the big boy, $649, comes with 512 gigabytes of NVMe SSD storage. This one comes with a premium anti-glare etched glass screen. I'm told it's pretty good. Actually, no, I know it's pretty good because the Steam Deck that I have been using from a friend, I don't have it in my possession, just when I go to their house. I do believe it has the anti-glare screen. I have not been able to test it without the anti-glare screen, but I mean, it looks fine. Comes with a carrying case again, but like an exclusive one. Ooh, I don't know what that means. The Steam Community Profile Bundle and a virtual keyboard theme for the deck. So yeah, it's it's still expensive, but again, in comparison to the competition, it is super, super, super cheap. So much cheap that I'm pretty sure Valve came out saying like they are definitely losing money from sales of this. They said, I think their words were, "We made this painfully cheap," and I believe it. Again, when the competition is $1,400, and for $399 you could get some pretty decent handheld performance. If you know anything about gaming, last benchmark video I saw for this thing, it can run Elden Ring at like medium settings at like 30 frames per second. That's nuts. A brand new AAA game running at like a somewhat stable 30 frames per second on a handheld computer. That's incredible. Like that, I don't know, that blows my mind that that's even possible. So it has pretty good performance. Pretty good performance. Of course, it's not going to be perfect, but as time continues on forward, things will be more optimized, more drivers will come out, blah 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 blah. I am super excited for this. This is something I've been waiting for a very long time now. I've always wanted to buy like a portable computer, not like a laptop. I've always wanted to start off with like a micro ATX case, like a small computer case. Because the idea of like a portable computer that I can take wherever I want and, like show friends games and just like relax or like, easily land.
Like a phone?
Like a phone,
yeah.
You said? I mean, yeah, I guess you're not wrong. Phones are really powerful nowadays, but, like an actual computer. Yeah, it's very tantalizing to me. But I never did it. The computer I have right now is literally the opposite. I think it's a full-sized case. It's massive. I can't take this thing around. So then the Switch came out, and I was like, oh, I mean, this is, like, kind of what I want. I haven't touched it in, like, over a year. I am definitely going to sell it. I don't personally care, but I'm also not a Nintendo guy, so there's that. It's just, I don't know, their stuff doesn't interest me. But I bought it primarily to be like, oh, like if things get ported over that I like, I could take them on the go, but, nothing I liked got ported over. So, whatever. I've barely touched it. But then fast forward to the Steam Deck, I now can play every single game that I'm already playing and any other game that I'm not playing that I want to play wherever I want, which is awesome, and plug it into a TV with a dock and rock out with some co-op action like the Switch, and have emulation, so I could play PS2, Dreamcast, whatever, wherever. Perfect. This is literally I've been waiting so long for something like this to come out. So long. I'm so excited. I don't have it yet, but it is reserved, so hopefully soon it comes out.
Maybe. The microchips come in.
I mean, I'm looking at my date here of when I'm supposed to get the email saying I can purchase it. I think it's cool. I've used it a couple times, and it's not heavy, surprisingly. You think it'd be a lot heavy than it is, but it's not. It is big. It is a very big device. It's probably one of the bigger, if not biggest, I don't think that's a word, but you know what I mean, handheld devices. But whatever, who cares? It's still a handheld. The trackpads are interesting to use. All the buttons feel nice. The haptics feel good enough. It feels good. For a V1 of a brand new product, so far what I've seen and from what my friend has told me, pretty darn good start. I am excited to see. Hopefully it just goes up from here, and I just keep making improvements, and I hope this becomes so popular that the portable computer, handheld gaming computer market grows, and that there's more competition, and competition is always a good thing, and the prices fall, and blah, 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 blah. I hope this starts like a whole new wave of gaming.
We'll
see.
It's possible. I will say, like, Valve does seem to generally kind of, from what I've seen in reviews, they generally seem to hit the mark on their hardware. All of it seems good, even though it doesn't quite sell up to the standard that they would wish it does. And
sure,
yeah.
Yes.
And so I'm sure it's a good product. Maybe down the line they perfect it a little more. I could see me getting it, but just right now, I'm already trying to just to probably upgrade my computer that I actually use. So I don't really see me budgeting for something like that.
Besides, if you like and, use your Switch.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, technically, you could just sell the Switch and then just emulate Switch on your Steam Deck, but, emulation isn't perfect, so.
Yeah, and that I would also have to spend money on the Steam Deck, which I don't know if I want to. There's other things I could buy.
Sure.
I don't just mean gaming wise, I just mean in kind of like life wise or other things I need and or want.
I understand.
But the Steam Deck does sound cool.
Completely.
I like the idea of everything it does.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I want to ask you if you like the idea of the Epic Game Store platform.
Competitive platform to Steam to try and get Steam to potentially realize, like, hey, maybe we should go back to doing cool, crazy, epic summertime sales, which is my biggest thing about Steam. Just want a good summer sales again.
Yes.
And the way they're
Yes.
trying to do it is by just literally giving out free games. If you saw the last podcast episode, I talked about some of the games that I got. I don't mind the Epic Games Store too much. I don't mind the competition. Even them getting games before Steam, it sucks, but I don't really mind it too much because, like, at the same time, Epic is paying for game companies to release on Epic first before like anything else. So
Yeah, and it's usually never anything that I'm really interested in. However, devil's advocate here, because I'm also like pretty indifferent. Yeah, it sucks, but whatever. They did just do something that, again, it's not a game I really play, but I don't know how I feel. Basically, I don't know the semantics of the way it works, so I'm gonna sound like an idiot, but from what I understand, they basically like bought the rights to Fall Guys, made it free to play, and took it off Steam, so you can no longer play it on. Well, you could play it if you have it, but like if you wanted to download Fall Guys on Steam, because that's your thing, and you've never done it before, sorry, you can't. You have to download Epic Game Store. And again, it's not costing you anything but your time.
yeah,
I don't know. There's something about that for whatever reason, it doesn't sit
really
right with me.
Into that slippery slope of like now.
Yeah.
Now you got these game launchers and companies and just buying out IPs completely.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the IP choosing like, hey, I'm not going on Epic Game Store because I don't know, maybe there's like a charge you have to pay to be on there, and like I just don't think it's worth the money for me to do that. I don't think I will get a good market. I know everybody's on Steam anyways. Let me just stay on Steam.
Mm-hmm. And if I mean, it's clear that what's his name, Tim Sweeney. I think that's the head of Epic. Mr. Epic pays a lot of money for the rights to these games to get put on his platform. So one thing that isn't really talked about, to just go back to Steam real quick, and Valve, I don't want to say ruined the gaming industry, but they definitely released the catalyst of the downfall of the gaming industry. I'm 90% certain that Valve invented the concept of early access, which has single-handedly, in my opinion, destroyed
the way they implemented it.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah. No, you're right. It's pretty terrible.
Yeah, it's literally ruined the gaming industry. So right there off the bat, because there's this out for game developers to be lazy, they can be lazy and get away with it just because they have this label on. Now there's another out to be even lazier, because Mr. Epic is willing to buy your piece of shit game because he wants all the rights to every game possible to be on Epic, so Steam doesn't have it. He's willing to buy your piece of shit game for $70 million. And it doesn't matter if it's good or bad, so who cares? You might as well make a shitty game and then have it just exclusive on Epic because he's giving you so much money. So that could also lead to even more lazy games being put out. But we're getting way ahead of ourselves. Really big picture. We're here to talk about the program,
do you have
not
an example of that, or? You're just saying that's like you think
I
that's a
don't-
possibility?
I just think it's a possibility. I can't say it's
I
happening
don't
for
know
sure.
that
I'm
would
just
be a
saying this could.
possibility just because, at least from what I've seen, you generally offer to pretty like good, well-made games. I don't really see any early access games.
Yeah.
so-
No, yeah. Right now, from what I can see, it seems legitimate.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, yeah, it could end up being yet another slippery slope. I'm not saying that this is definitively happening or definitively will happen, but it could.
Sure.
But let's talk about the program. It's really simple, and that's like its big downfall. That's what everyone complains about. There's no features. You have a store and a library and access to the Unreal Engine. That's it.
That's
But it
everything
makes-
I need, baby.
But of course,
Yeah,
again,
that,
like Nathan was saying, it's the free games.
There's
That's why
there's
it's
no
so simple.
No workshop.
No, nothing. There's barely a chat
Yeah.
feature. Like there's like I think friends list and like I think you can text chat
Yep.
people, but that's it. It is pretty much just like those like little kiosks that you see in the mall. That's what Epic Game Store is. It's
Yeah,
just like a mall
about-
kiosk.
There's
There's
not a whole lot to it.
really nothing to it. It looks fine. It since it's so simple, there's not a lot of buttons to click, so I sincerely doubt you're ever gonna get lost in terms of like UI design. It's pretty simple. Everything's right here. Instead of the tabs being on the top, they're on the left.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
It's-
simple.
it's simple.
Has
Do I care? Not really, but
yeah, I don't really care. I do like a good workshop. I haven't.
yeah, that could add a couple more
I haven't
things. Sure.
tried modding games on Epic outside of Workshop yet, so I don't know. I don't know about that yet.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I don't even know if that's possible.
Yeah. Probably also
Yeah,
depends on
I
the
didn't
game
think about
too,
that.
but
Yeah, I agree. I think it's permanently in dark mode too. I don't know if there's a light mode. Even if there is, who cares?
I'll
Like
take
why
it.
would you use
Actually,
it?
I think I
But-
was clicking around and one game came up with a white background. And like it was the only one game for some reason. Like I clicked on multiple games and just one game, a white background. It really sucked on my eyes. I'm not sure what that's about.
I am so sorry.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, I unfortunately I don't have anything else to say. Like
Yeah,
it's,
there's not
it's a program.
much to say about it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well, then yeah, it's
However,
fine. It gets the
Steam
job
is
done.
still better. Like,
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Now, something that the next topic we could definitely have a lot to say. We're going to get a little serious here. And this is something that I think we want to do in the future. We want to like talk about a historical event or like a historical figure or just something in
yeah,
history,
just bring
something
some
interesting
history.
that that people know or that people might not know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be obscure. Just something that intrigues us. Do some research on it and then talk about it with you guys and gals. So today, after a little bit of back and forth of what we should do, we went through a couple things, but we landed on a person. We landed on a historical figure that I would say is kind of obscure. I don't think that a lot of people know about him. I don't think you knew about him until I brought him up. So hopefully we could shed some light and get you people looking up this guy and do some research on him because he's kind of important. So his name is Raul Wallenberg, and to just give you a quick little summary before we go, like super deep. He's basically very, very similar to Schindler from Schindler's List, which I'm pretty sure is real, right? That's based
Yeah.
off a true story. I'm an idiot,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, okay. Very similar, did the same, thing, posed as someone to save Jewish people en masse from the Nazis in World War II. But before we get, diving deep into this, I am correct when I say you've never heard of this guy, right? Okay. So, I have a little history with this guy.
Oh, so like you know him?
It was Yeah, in real life, I knew
Shit.
him back in 1940. We were best buds, bro. It was crazy. Life was a movie back then. I'm just kidding. What was I gonna say? You ruined my train of thought. God damn it!
Yeah, fuck you.
You're off the podcast.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you.
Oh, what was I actually gonna say? Oh, okay, yeah. So I came across this guy by complete accident. I'm going to try and get this done in 10 minutes because there's a lot to say, so I apologize if it goes a little bit longer. So, one day as a little kid, I was reading a Scholastic book. I still had the book somewhere. I'm not going to go look for it now because I don't know where it is, but basically it was a book of short stories from World War II. Not fictional, like actual, factual things that happened from World War II. Shortened down and put into a little book. I don't remember any of the other books or stories, but there was this one about this dude named Raul Wallenberg. And as a little kid, I was like, who's this guy? Like, I've never heard of this before in my life. This was never taught in school. My parents don't know about him. Who is this? And as I read more and more into the story, I got like super, super intrigued because the story is very fascinating and what he did was very admirable and brave. So to give a little background, I don't have all of the information just stored in my head. I have it in my phone here. So if I like pause for a moment, I'm looking up where the rest of the stuff is I have to read. So he was born in Stockholm, Sweden. He's Swedish, I believe. I would hope. On August 4th, 1912. He was born to the Wallenberg family, and the Wallenberg family was, I believe, relatively wealthy. Mostly like bankers, politicians, businessmen, relatively important people, a lot of money. So he went to the United States for college to get his degree. When I believe this was in 1931. The plan was for him to go into banking, but he was more interested in architecture and trade. So in 1931, he left Stockholm, or wherever he was living at the time. I don't have all the fine details. And he went to study architecture at the University of Michigan here in the States. He also studied English, German, and French, the second language being absolutely crucial to everything that he did. Really glad that he took a German class. Holy hell.
Could have took an art class.
So,
Could have took an art class.
yeah, well, someone took an art class, had some paintings, got rejected by some Jewish people, and then was angry enough to kill 7 million of them. So maybe it was a good thing he didn't take an art class. So after he got his degree, he returns back to Sweden in 1935. But unfortunately, his U.S. degree does not qualify him to work, or did not qualify him to work as an architect back in his home country, hometown, whatever. So, between 1935 and 1936, he was employed at a branch office in the Holland Bank in Hafia. I'm probably reading that wrong. Present-day Israel. That's fascinating. Okay, very cool. So at his time in the bank, a lot of his customers were Jewish people that were being prosecuted by Germany, because this is about the time where, I don't remember exactly when Hitler rose to power or was rising to power, but I'm pretty sure it was in the late 30s, mid to late 30s is when things started to really ramp up. So I'm assuming that these were people that, came in contact with the people. What are they called? Anti-Semites? People that hate Jewish people. Again, I'm an idiot. So around that time, if you were Jewish, chances are that you were starting to get a target on your back. So a lot of his customers were people that were targeted, from hate and whatnot. And he would, talk to them about it, and they would tell him stories about like what's going on, and this dude rising to power, and things aren't looking so good. And he's like, wow, this actually sucks. This is really terrible. I'm super sorry. And it really affected him. So I guess it's a good thing that he went to work at the bank, because he got exposed firsthand to these people and what was going on. So from there, he went to work for a or the Central European Trading Company. That's an import-export company with operations in Stockholm and Central Europe. I'm also reading this on, I think, the official Sweden website. I will double check. These are not my own words. I'm not taking credit here. Anyway, yeah. So he went to work at the Central European Trading Company, an import-export company with operations in Stockholm and Central Europe, owned by a name named Koloman, I guess, Lauer, a Hungarian Jew. So Mr. Wallenberg's linguistic skills and the fact that he could travel freely around Europe made him the perfect business partner for Lauer. I mean, obviously the fact that, you have the money to travel and you have the skills to talk to different people, it's perfect for working in an import-export company. So I'm sure he was hired on the spot. So it wasn't really long after he started working that he became a major shareholder and even an international manager of the company. Eventually, once the Nazis really started occupying territories, eventually and inevitably his travels and his business took him to some of those occupied territories, specifically like France and Germany, and that soon taught him, confirmed truly what was going on, and that his feelings on it, that this is terrible. And it also showed him how the German bureaucracy worked. Knowledge that would prove highly valuable to his mission. But basically, he became very well known at his job, obviously because he's traveling around. He's really good at it. And the Hungarian, I feel bad, but a prominent government organization in Hungary came up to him and was like, hey, we want you to help us stop the Nazis from killing more of our people. Are you down? And he's like, yes, 100%. So he pretty much left Stockholm, Sweden permanently. Once he left to go, quote unquote, fight in the war, that was it. He never returned home because there's a quote of him saying, he would feel terrible if he returned home. And the work that he did was not finished. He made it apparent that, he wanted to get as much done as physically possible. So basically what he would do is he would go down to the train stations and wherever the Nazis had gathered the people before they put them in the concentration camps and put them in trains, whatever, before they were killed. And he had multiple ways of saving people. The most famous way is something called a Schutz Pass. I don't remember exactly how it's spelled, so just spell it like SCHUTZ or something. Again, I don't have all the small details, I'm sorry. It was a pass that he made up, that he designed himself, basically saying this person, insert name here, is a very important person to me and my organization, and you are not allowed to touch them by any means. Give them to me now. And you might think that's it, all he had was a piece of paper and that saved people. Yeah, because you have to realize that going back to the German bureaucracy, especially the Nazis had a super hard on for papers. They loved official documents and anything to seal deal officially in paper. They loved paper. So he hit them right at their Achilles heel and their weakness, and he created a paper to save these people. And I think officially the number was, he started off by printing 4,500 of these papers, but in reality, I think later on down the line it was proven that it was thrice that number. So he got a pretty good start. Yeah. But as the war ramped up and things got crazier and crazier, he had to broaden his efforts because he couldn't spend all this time, looking at people's names, putting them down, tracking them down, and all that fun stuff, and saving people one by one, printing out these papers. So there were times where, towards the end of the war, he got, I don't want to say desperate, but he really expanded his efforts to where he would scrounge up as much official document for these Hungarian Jews as possible. So he would try and find IDs, obituaries, even just names. He needed names, and he would write down names, and he would just go to like the train stations and just yell at the Nazis and just start reading names of people that might not even be there. But as he was reading names, the people in line would be, come to realize, oh, he's trying to save us. So once he calls a name, I need to go. And then it got to the point where I watched a video of, maybe it was one of the people that, I don't know exactly who this lady was, whether it was like a relative or one of the Jewish people that he saved. I don't know. But apparently there was a time where he even got to the point where he went up to train stations and whatnot with this big black book, and he would open up the black book, yell at the Nazis, be like, yo, stop. This is my turn now. I'm taking these people. And he would open this big black book and just start reading off names. And then apparently like one of his colleagues later down the line came up to him and he's like, how do you have all of these names? Where are you getting these names? How do you remember all of them? Like, how are you cramming them into this book? And he opened the book and the book was just blank. He's like, there's no names in here, man. I'm literally just saying things at this point. I am just making up names. And all of the papers that he had with like actual writing on it was in Hungarian, which I guess the Germans couldn't read, or whatever language that the Germans confirmed couldn't read. So if they, were like, oh, let me see it, he perfect way to play it off if they can't read the paper. So through all of his efforts, he was able to save, I think, about 100,000, maybe more, Jewish people. And the community, I think, that was really being targeted, the Hungarian Jewish community, was about 200,000 people large. So, again, I could be completely wrong here. I'm sorry if I'm butchering these facts, but this is just what I've read. So, pretty good job. Yeah. One dude saving 100,000 people. So I mean, of course, he had help.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Now, what happened to him, you might ask? Well, that is the unfortunate and mysterious part of it. I'm sorry again that this is going on a little bit longer, but this is interesting and important. I'm going to read one last thing. This is from the U.S. Holocaust Memorial Museum website. Again, these are not my own words. So Wallenberg was detained by Soviet agents on January 17th, 1945. Soon after, the Soviet forces occupied Budapest and therefore disappeared without a trace. Or thereafter, I'm sorry. On December 22nd, 2000, the Russian prosecutor's office issued a formal statement acknowledging that Wallenberg was held in a Soviet prison as a quote-unquote socially dangerous person for 2.5 years before he died. This statement followed one by Alexander Yakolev, right? I think that's how you pronounce it. The Russian official appointed to investigate the Wallenberg affair, who stated that in November 2000 that Wallenberg had been executed in 1947. So you have one account saying that he was held prisoner and died in prison. You have another account saying that he was executed, and there's plenty of more accounts. And unfortunately, to this day, no one really knows where he went or how he died. There's a little bit more to this paragraph here. However, since the Russians further indicated that all records relating to Wallenberg's arrest have been destroyed, how convenient, no evidence of his imprisonment or death apparently exists. Again, convenient. Consequently, many questions about Wallenberg's fate remain unanswered. I think in 2013, if I'm remembering correctly, he was made an honorary U.S. citizen, which is cool, and his name, I believe, is, of course, in the Holocaust Museum and a bunch of other Holocaust memorial statues and whatnot. But that's pretty much everything. That's like my synopsis of it. Again, I'm sure I probably got some things wrong, but this is everything I could find with research. I'm just trying to remember things. But yes, very fascinating guy, very fascinating tale. One man, with the help of others, of course, was able to save around 100,000 Jewish people simply due to the fact that the Nazis loved paper. That's wild. That is insane. He is a hero. I am sad that he literally vanished and probably got executed, let's be honest. So, as stupid as it sounds, shout out to you, Mr. Wallenberg. Your work definitely has not gone unnoticed. And to anyone listening, if this was at all interesting, please look into this more. Not a lot of people know about him, and he definitely needs more recognition because he did a lot for the Jewish people.
Yeah, it's crazy how like
Yeah.
you can do something so big and still go so just unrecognized. I'm sure this happened to many people in history.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Especially in that war alone, I'm sure there were many other stories just like that, and maybe not even just like that. I'm sure there's just many other crazy stories of stuff that's happened that we'll probably never know. It is crazy how you could do that big of a thing, and yeah, it just doesn't really get noticed.
But
which
you
is
know what did get noticed?
what?
The Xbox Game Pass.
Such a funny transition from something super serious back to video game launchers. I love it. Well, yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. The Xbox launcher has been getting a lot of notice recently. Microsoft has like reworked it for the PC and added the Game Pass for the PC, so a lot of people have their eyes on it more than they ever did and are using it more than they ever did. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it looks a lot
huge.
like Epic.
Yeah, it looks a lot like Epic. They clean it up a lot. From when I started using it, it's a lot easier to get around. I guess it doesn't matter, but there's like a section just for Game Pass and a section just for Store, which is cool. It's good. Still not exactly as easy to browse through games as Steam. Like it's very easy to like just search the one game you want.
Yeah, it's not really
Then obviously
too
with
easy
it
to do that
being
here.
tied to Xbox, it gets a little bit you don't have as big of a selection of games as you would with like Steam or Epic Game Store or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
But you use this because you're using Game Pass.
Yeah, that's the only reason why I use it. You don't use it for really any other reason, unless you bought a game on there or something. But otherwise, yeah, you're probably not going to use this. Again, the tabs are on the side. It's dark mode probably permanently. Not too many buttons, but the way.
Opinion, I think it works a little smoother
than Epic. You think it looks or works smoother? I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Yeah, because it has more like subtle animations. Like when you hover over a game, it does that little like pop-up thing of the tags, and like at the top, you can see the color of whatever the game is like above it in the UI. Yeah, so it looks a little cleaner. It feels a little smoother.
It's not,
but it's nothing
like
groundbreaking.
Slow loading stuff.
Okay, very interesting.
This is very fast.
Very interesting.
I'm not sure it's like my.
It is, yeah, it's fast. I can't confirm if Epic was slow for me. I didn't really touch it too much, so I wasn't moving around too much inside of it. But keep that in mind if that matters too.
But yeah, PC games, and if you don't have the Game Pass, probably goes under Epic, Steam.
Oh, wow, we haven't been ranking these things.
I haven't.
Yeah, LOL. Okay, you go first.
Steam at the top, Epic second, and then this one.
Do I agree? Yeah, I agree.
I don't really use this too often.
That's good.
The Game Pass.
Yeah, I don't have the Game Pass, but I only have one other game on here outside of the Game Pass when I had it, so it doesn't get used often. But whenever I play that game, sure, I will obviously use it. But it's fine. Again, it's kind of
you
boring,
probably don't use it too much unless you're just super into using your Game Pass, which that's your thing. Go for it. There's a ton of games on there.
Yeah. Speaking of things that people do use, or rather play, sticking to the topic of video games, co-op games.
Yeah.
They have definitely increased in numbers over the past years with, online gaming becoming more and more prevalent. But co-op has been a thing forever.
It's just about
I think.
forever. The first game
Yeah.
was what, chess on a computer.
That's more competitive, but I understand what you mean.
Oh yeah. No,
Yeah?
I guess you're right. That's not really a co-op game. You could play with somebody else, but yeah.
Didn't like Super Mario have it? Plays
Yeah.
Luigi.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. I don't want to say that's the first one, but probably one of the first ones. Yeah, it's been around for a long time. Started out as couch, and has now moved towards primarily online, which I have a problem with. But before we get into that, what are some of your favorite co-op games?
Some of my favorite co-op games, the Lego Star Wars games back when
Yes.
it had
Classics.
well, I guess it still has co-op. Just it's not online co-op. I guess you could say Minecraft. I liked Human Fall Flat quite a bit.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Whenever I play that game, it's more fun.
It was fun. Yeah, I got to get the Game Pass again in order to do
So
that.
do you consider this co-op game Jackbox Party Pack?
Yeah, I would consider. Yeah, it's a mixture of co-op and competitive. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
those
let
types
it
of
pass.
party games are just a blast. When you get the people together to do that.
So much fun. I know it's not. Well, I guess it can be co-op, but throwback to when we used to play Mario Party either in your room or with the other boys. I don't want to say names here. Getting drunk when we used to drink with that too. Oh my god, it was so much fun, especially when we were drinking and it was two people on one controller.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was awesome. It was so much fun. I missed that so much. Good picks. If I had to pick,
I
would
was just gonna put in
go.
Castle Crashers.
Castle Crash. Oh, of course,
co-op
that is
game,
like a
yeah.
staple, I would say. Great game. Wow, that's a throwback. What would I say? I mean, God, Castle Crashers, of course. Pretty much a lot of the stuff that Nathan already said. Of course, I'm blanking on co-op games. I love car combat games, specifically Twisted Metal. So that's always fun playing that cooperatively or competitively, whatever. Left 4 Dead.
Oh
How can we
yeah,
forget
Left
about
4 Dead. That's a great one.
Yeah, that is like
a lot of games have been
top
trying
3.
to like replicate that game style, and nothing really hits it.
And I think, nothing hits it as good as Left 4 Dead, but the one that comes the closest is Deep Rock.
Yeah, Deep Rock's another.
Yeah,
great
that is a
co-op
pretty
game.
good
Yeah.
game. I cannot fault that.
There's also GTFO. Scary co-op.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
We played that for so we're about 5 hours into the game. We were still on the first level.
Yeah, that game was so difficult. Yeah, we were playing it for like 5 hours that one day, and we never beat the first level. I do want to give it another go.
We have to get back into that one.
Yeah, there's a lot of co-op games out there. I don't want to name them all, but tons of good ones.
Great
Now
fun with
to
friends.
Huh?
Great fun with
What'd
friends.
you say? Oh, of course. Absolutely. That's why I'm super excited about the Steam Deck, because the best part of the Switch was, when you're at a gathering with a bunch of people for an extended period of time and someone breaks out the Switch and now you're all playing a game together on the couch, which is cool. I am very, very excited to do that. Same thing with the Steam Deck, but with literally every video game that could ever exist instead of a hand-selected few. But that circles back to what I was saying previously. It's shifted towards online co-op more rather than couch co-op. And of course, obviously, I mean, online gaming has boomed, especially in the past 2 years with COVID.
Yeah.
So I get it. I get why online gaming is more popular than couch co-op. What I don't get, however, is it's usually one or the other. Now, I'm not a game dev, but I feel like it shouldn't be that hard to, if you have a game that could clearly benefit from both forms of co-op, it shouldn't be that hard to put both forms in, not just one or the other.
You know, that's effort. And why do that?
Yes, but it seems like minimal effort, though.
That's what I would think too, because obviously with something like COD, you just go into like the split screens, and I feel like the split screen is really all you need for most games. Maybe I can't imagine that going split screen for most of these games, the multiplayer would detrimentally slow down your game performance unless you just didn't optimize the game correctly, maybe.
Yeah, that rarely happens nowadays. Back in like the PS2 or the PS3, you could see the game suffering, but I mean, we have supercomputers now pretty much at home. Yeah. So yeah, there's no way that it's like a performance thing. I guess it has to be laziness. But then, like, there's some, like, really obvious ones, like we talked about before, that just make some baffling choices. How are you going to have the brand new Lego Star Wars game for a whole new generation of kids to play in the online age and force couch co-op? Again, I sometimes I even prefer couch co-op over online co-op. But how are you not going to also include online co-op in the brand new Lego Star Wars game that is coming out in the year of our Lord 2022? How? That's just dumb. That's a stupid decision.
I feel like people would play the game a lot more. They could play the game online.
Just matchmake.
Yeah. With my friends online, like, I'd probably play the game a lot more.
Yeah, I would have bought the game now. I don't own the game. Even though it's something I've been looking forward to for years, I would have bought the game now if I could play it online with the people that already have it. But the fact that I can't, I mean, you could do the Steam share play thing, but doesn't count. Sorry.
It's kind of janky to do that anyways.
Sometimes yeah, sometimes no. Sometimes it works perfectly. It's weird. Yeah, baffling choices. Really baffling choices, or vice versa when a game just has online and could seriously benefit from couch co-op. I don't get it. I don't
get it either. I don't know. But you know what's something else a game could benefit from?
I don't know. Enlighten me, please.
Being on something like good old games, maybe.
Good old games. We love good old games. Do we love good old games? Well, let's find out.
Okay. It definitely, it's pretty polished, honestly.
Yeah, so
it's a good selection as well.
Good old games is interesting because I'm pretty sure it's me and Nathan's least used launcher. I've probably been in this launcher less time than I've put into your average homework assignment in college. I've barely touched this. I have one game inside of it, and that's SWAT 4, which, quick hot take, I don't like it. I don't know why everyone literally orgasms when they think about SWAT 4. It's not that enjoyable, but crucify me, please don't. I don't want to die. So yeah, it looks great. They, a while ago, just like Steam, they had a glow up. The original Good Old Games wasn't as nice looking, but this one looks super nice, the 2.0. So two interesting things about Good Old Games. A, with the 2.0, I have the webpage up here. They want it to be like the game launcher for your game launchers, which is a stupid sentence and proves just how many unnecessary game launchers there are. They want to scrape all of the games and all of your friends across all of your launchers and just slap it into this one program, so you don't have to open up 17 different game launchers and find what you're looking for, which is an admirable idea, I suppose. I haven't input any of the credentials into this because A, I'm lazy, and B, I don't use this game launcher. I downloaded it for the show. Surprise. So, sorry, I can't tell you if it's a good feature or not, but on paper it sounds great. And then the second interesting thing about Good Old Games is it's in the title, Old Games. They're like the Steam for games pre-2005.
But it still does have some good...
Yeah, no, it still has modern games, which is interesting. But if you want to be able to play like a working copy of your favorite old game, they take the time to take the files I don't want to say remaster the game, but make it work on modern hardware, give you the ability to play co-op online easily instead of downloading like 17 different strange, small, niche programs to play with your friends on your favorite game from 1990. They'll give you achievements, all the modern features. It's like a resto mod on an old car, you know? Take an old Chevelle and put $80,000 of work into it, and it's like a brand new car on the inside. Nice. But it still has the old body.
I like it.
It's nice, yes. It's really cool. I like that idea. I don't know. I don't play any old games on here. I play my old games elsewhere.
I'm just looking through it. Yeah, I might start using this more often.
Yeah, I should
great.
Because it's nice. It is really nice, and they do have some old games that I would play, but I just don't. Yeah, maybe I won't uninstall it immediately after we're done here.
Honestly, I think if I had to rate these things, I probably put it second behind Steam. It just works well.
Yeah, I am absolutely going to put this at a second. It's very nice looking. I like what they're doing. I like the fact that it's primarily like older game focused because someone has to do it. Because that's my biggest complaint about being a PC gamer. I hate the fact that if I want to play my favorite games from my childhood, I cannot just put them in the disc tray. I have to put them in the disc tray and then spend 17 hours patching it in hopes to have a 50% chance upon launch that it will work. Why? Why can't they just work? I mean, I know that's stupid. It's probably the same thing as saying, like, why can't we just add more money into the ecosystem? I don't understand why they can't just work, but they don't. But that's where good old games comes in. They make them work. So I like what they're doing. I don't know. I just don't use it. So maybe I will keep it in and poke around and whatnot. Yeah, it looks nice. So Steam, GOG, Epic, Xbox.
And I have the same list as you as well.
Wow, another one where we are on the hive mind. All right, well, let's not waste any time here since we're already going on a little long. Again, I apologize. Let's get on to the last thing. No fancy little transition here.
And hey, Justin, hey, I'm going to pause. I gotta go to the bathroom.
Oh, I'm leaving that in. Also, I just want to apologize real quick. The gain on my mic is turned up all the way. I don't know why. It's like stuck. And it's summertime, so you're going to be hearing a lot of fans in the background. Computer fans, air conditioner fans. And Nathan's back from the bathroom.
Yeah. So, moving on.
What were we saying?
To the last topic.
Yes, so, this is one that Nathan will probably primarily be doing most of the time.
Yeah, we got one for me, fellas. With Russia, they started a war with Ukraine because, why not?
Wait, Russia's at war with Ukraine?
Everybody got stir crazy during COVID and they had to get out of the house. This is how Russia decided to do it.
Yeah, it sucks. It's terrible. I hope it stops soon.
In all seriousness, it's not a great thing.
No.
And kind of going over it, not being too serious about the topic. However, something I did see started coming up a lot. So a lot of super yachts from Russia have been seized as a part of the sanctions against them for doing this war.
From like the oligarchs, right?
Yeah, the oligarchs. I guess the first ship I'll go over. I'm not doing these in any like particular order. Okay. But the first ship was I believed seized by the actual Italian, Italy. It was seized by actual Italy, not United States getting permission from Italy to come in to seize the boat, but Italy themselves seizing the boat or the yacht. The yacht worth about $700 million.
Oh my!
Yeah,
Lord.
it's 459 feet long. It's well, I'll get into that later. This one, it's called the I might butcher this name. It's the Scheherazade. It has alleged links to being owned by Vladimir Putin, they got it before it's going out of the port. What had me start really looking into the topic was a different ship, though. Was one seized by U.S. officials with permission from the Fiji government. This one worth about $300 million. Super yacht owned by the oligarch Suleiman Kroyemov. That was seized. I'm pretty sure this guy did something with like oil banking, oil mining, something like that. His one was 348 foot long. And when I first read that article, my immediate thing was like, hey, some of these yachts are insane. Like I'm pretty sure the $700 million one, that one had like the world's largest pool on a yacht. Yeah, and I was just like, that is insane. Imagine owning a yacht. You're in the middle of the ocean. You want to go swimming in a pool.
Go in the pool.
Yeah. and the reason this really caught my attention because Jeff Bezos made a super yacht, and I thought he had like
we talked
the
about
greatest
this.
super yacht ever. He just seemed like he seems the type of dude that would go for it, but also has the actual money to do it. Like, he definitely has the money for it. So looking into his ship, just for comparison, his ship he has is 417 feet. So it's not even like the largest one.
And how big was the previous one that you mentioned?
So the Russian one, alleged links to Vladimir Putin, was 459 feet. Which, I have the list somewhere. I believe the largest super yacht still under construction is going to be 728 feet. But the largest one that
stupid.
you can actually sail out 600 feet, which is about 2 football fields.
That's
a blue rail is 89 feet for another comparison.
Gosh.
And
oh my goodness, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's a few super yachts. It looks like with the one still under construction, there's about 9 super yachts over 500 feet.
Wow.
However, one thing I'll give to Jeff Bezos is his one is a sailing one. It's meant to be powered by sails. His one is not fully powered by sails. It has some engine work, but engine with sail is how it works. But the largest sailing yacht, actually like a sailing yacht, uses sails to power it. This is called a sailing yacht A. It's 465 feet. So almost 50 feet larger than Jeff Bezos is. And believe it or not, this is also one of the yachts that was seized as part of the Russian sanctions.
Is this the largest sailing yacht?
The sailing yacht A?
Yes.
That's the largest sailing yacht.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like actual sails to help power it.
Yeah, no motors. That's wow.
It has motors, but it
primarily
sails. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I guess my next question is, since I'm an uneducated rube, what happens when what are they doing with these boats now that they're seized? Like, do they just use them themselves?
See,
or are just gonna get scrapped or sold? Or
I'm looking up what's happening with these seized.
Is there like a rich guy impound lot for?
I imagine the way I'm picturing is eventually it's gonna be after everything's cleared up and it can actually get to a point of you seized the yacht and the person you seized it from just doesn't get it back because of whatever laws. Imagine it goes under state owned and likely would be auctioned off to the highest bidder.
Sure. Yeah, I mean that's how most of this stuff works anyway.
Yeah.
I imagine that is still. Okay, here's another question. why are they seizing these? Like, yeah, I know the war, but like, when I think of, again, I don't know how anything works, but like, when I think of a country committing acts of war against someone else, the first thing that comes to my mind is I'm going to take all of their wealthy people's assets. So why are they doing it? Like, what is the point of it? Well, like, is there a benefit or something? Why?
It's like a way to try and punish the oligarchs and like the high political figures involved in likely the decision for the war. Like, you can punish them without punishing the civilians who I imagine for the most part you would consider as innocent. Like, hey, these people, the government went to war, like, yeah, they might get drafted or something, but like, at least with this one, it's fairly, like, you do a little bit of research, you can see like most people seem like they aren't for this, and they don't care about this, so trying to not punish them for their government's work. And that's why they would do, like, because they also went after, like, like you said, their assets, like the villas, private jets, and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah. That, I mean, I wish they could just solely, I feel bad for the Russian civilians because, again, primarily none of them, like, majority of them are not for this. There are a few that are blinded, but that's with everything. But they are also, unfortunately, they're also getting, like, their economy is destroyed. They're feeling the effects too. It's that their lives are getting ruined. But I'm really glad that, that they're targeting the people that have the money and power that are causing this. They should keep targeting that. And it sucks. But that's very interesting. I didn't know about any of this. So this is news to me, just like the other thing was news to you.
This,
that's very cool.
7 yachts that have just been seized, but then you have the 8th one, which is the one that was frozen. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the $700 million one not seized, frozen, so it can't leave Italy, can't leave the port. I don't think people can access it either, beyond like government authorizations. So that one's just frozen, which at right now.
Okay.
Then
Wow.
there's
that is
7
crazy.
others just completely seized.
Sure. Yeah. Hey, keep it up. I mean,
Yeah.
hurt the people that need to be hurt. That is obviously.
Yeah. I just thought it was insane how created some of these super yachts got. And
Yeah, these are. You could.
the size of.
I think there's
fields.
towns that are smaller than some of these yachts. That's insane. Yeah, you could live
I
on these.
look at some of the more information about the Super Yacht A. That thing has multiple elevators on it.
The
Elevators on
nuts.
a fucking yacht, bro.
Boat. Yeah, that's
Like a personally
That's weird.
owned boat. This isn't like a cruise boat. This is like just a boat some guy owns and like takes his buddies out into the water on.
Oh my god, it's so weird.
Imagine, like, cause like, yeah, they're expensive to make and buy, but the upkeep of like keeping them in like a port, and then like the maintenance and the crew for all of that and all of that,
And just
like,
running.
just so expensive.
I know. Yeah, you pay 700 million for the boat, then a couple million for the upkeep and maintenance and the storage, and then I'm sure to run it for just like 2 hours costs like 300 grand or something ridiculous,
Yeah.
and fuel and electricity and
Yeah.
I can't imagine. Like, I literally can't imagine that. I don't know what that's like. I don't know if I ever will. Yeah, that's nuts. That is nuts. Well, thank you for sharing your information.
Yeah, of course. I just thought this was interesting.
No, it is very interesting. I'm glad you brought it up. It's also something specific that I don't think a lot of people would talk
Yeah,
about.
it's why I kind of brought it up because it's like, hey, how many people are really thinking about all
Focused on
the
this.
super yachts
Just
being
sitting.
like taken?
I mean, hey, if they want to give them to us,
Hey, I'll take a super yacht.
I'll put my my PO box in the description of this video. If you guys want to send us one, cool. That'd be great. We'd like to be the first podcasters on a super yacht.
They have a few super yachts towards the cheaper ends of things.
Yeah, like what?
This Lena one, 132 feet, with about 8 million, has 5 cabins, can accommodate 10 guests.
Oh.
I think I could.
Okay.
I think I could do that one.
Yeah, I have about maybe $50 on my debit card right now. I think that's enough for a down payment.
Yeah.
All right, we should invest with all the money that we're making with this show.
Like Airbnb it over the weekends and stuff.
That I don't know if that's a good idea or a bad idea.
I don't see like it's like a kind of like a constant income thing. It works out.
That sounds, yeah. You would just they can't drive it, obviously. All right, yeah. Let's buy a yacht. Okay, I'm willing to go $8 million in debt if you want to start a yacht Airbnb.
Maybe we'll be able to get it cheaper because it's used now.
Ooh.
It was
I think we're on to
seized.
something here.
I think we could probably get it for like a good $2 million.
Hey, I mean, again, that's a lot of money, but that's a great
they
discount.
Depreciate the same way cars do.
Yeah, the moment it touches the water, it loses $7 million off the price. All right, well, that's everything. This episode is a little bit longer, but not crazy. So sorry, not sorry. I don't know. I guess to wrap things up, we're gonna try and get back in the swing of the every 2 weeks thing. We're gonna try our best, at least. Yeah, we're going to try and stick with the 2 weeks thing. More importantly, me and Nathan have finally crafted a drum roll, please. Would you like to tell the people, Nathan?
We have a Twitter account.
Yeah, we have a social media account. Just completely forgot that we forgot to tell you guys the Twitter handle. It's Lotta PC, at Lotta PC. I don't know what we're gonna do with it yet, but we have it, and we'll be making.
Can expect we'll probably put like we'll post when our episodes go up. We'll probably have polls for some topics and themes you guys might be interested in us doing.
Yeah, yeah. We figured we'll start with Twitter. Maybe expand in the future, but for now, just one. Get a little bit of interest, and yeah, of course we want to grow as much as possible.
Fans as well.
Of course, yeah. Good way to, if for whatever reason, whatever you listen on, and you actually are super interested in the show. I hope there's people out there that are, and you care when a new episode drops. I'm sure we'll post that on Twitter too. So, good way to keep up as soon as it drops. Otherwise, I guess the normal stuff. Please watch my YouTube video, Super Sailman 777, SUPERSEAL man 777. Shout out to my parents because I love them. Shout out to Nathan's parents because he loves them. I think that's about it. I feel like I'm forgetting something, and I probably am, but I don't know. So have a good one, and we will see you hopefully in 2 weeks.
Yep. Hopefully,
all right.
We'll see you at the next episode.
Yes, and have a terrible night. I love you. Bye.
Bye.